What do you say? Let's check out the markets and see how we're doing on the grains. I'm Marlin Bohling with you, and on the corn market right now, we continue to really struggle in this corn trade. The rain makes grain scenario really seems to be weighing on the market overall. We have July corn down 2.5 at 3.25 3/4, and December new crop corn down 4 1/4 and 3.37.5 right now, and that actually happens to be right in the middle of the trading range today. Now let's move on to the soybeans, where we have the nearby July actually turning and going a penny higher now at 8.77 1/4. After dipping as low as 8.65 early this morning. Right now, November soybeans are still down a little bit. They're down a penny and a quarter, and they're trading at 8.78, and that is 13 cents now off of its earlier low from the early morning trade. Remember, we had that overnight export sale announced of 132,000 tons to China. In the wheat in Chicago, July has turned around now. It's at 4.85 3/4. That would be up 3/4 after being several cents lower earlier. In the Kansas City trade, we have July 2 1/4 higher at 4.33.5. And in Minneapolis, spring wheat, we are showing July down 3 3/4 at 5.15. I want to go to the phone and welcome Ben Hushon, a regular contributor from the mill in Whitehall, Maryland. And Ben, thanks for joining us here today. I imagine this time of year, you're probably almost able to hear the corn growing out there as that crop takes off this year.
Good morning, Marlin. That is a good description. We've kind of settled into the typical summer heat pattern where we have, upper 60s in the daytime, mid to upper 80s during the day, and typically scattered rain every morning. It's kind of a discussion of, hey, I had a tenth, I had an inch, I had an inch and a half, I had a quarter. Pretty much scattered across the whole area, and even the nights, just that humid weather, just seems to make us wilt and make corn grow. That's for sure.
I know you had sent in some photos of some of that growing corn out there, and I took a peek at them before we came on the air. That looked pretty good.
Yeah, they are. Corn is really rolling well. We're kind of scrambling. Most people are getting near the end of that opportunity to put that second application on. A lot of tissue sampling, nitrogen model one more time, and a lot of the corn has kind of reached that B6 stage. Some of it a touch ahead of that, some of it a little bit behind, but just a big race to get through it, get that nitrogen on so the soil can break it down. And the other thing I failed to send pictures in on for the viewers, and I apologize, barley harvest began since we last talked, and it is the full range. If you think back to Mother's Day Tuesday, I was sharing with you cold snap that came through. We have some barley that yielded virtually nothing. We've had yields of down around 20. The folks that didn't have barley in head that weekend, they fared much better. We're hearing, don't even like to say it out loud for the neighbors, there's some 120 bushel plus yields. And again, as I said, there's also a bunch that the yield is virtually zero.
Wow. Ben, I always look forward to your updates and appreciate all the work you do to keep us informed on what's going on in the Mid-Atlantic region. Look forward to our talk next week. Ben Hushon of the Mill in Whitehall, Maryland, with a look at agriculture this week on the Atlantic coast. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll take a look at our livestock trade coming up next.